Hello! What's going on here? It's Bits and Bytes. From anything to everything.
Welcome Johan, once again. Thank you very much for being on this show.
Lost focus, press Alt Tab.
Good morning, Paul. Good morning, everybody. Yes, what a privilege to be here on episode 8 already. And can't believe it's episode 8 already, Paul. How was your week?
At this stage, my week is busy. That's all I can say. And things are, things are definitely improving concerning the podcast, concerning the viewers. People, I must say, thank you so much for viewing. Thank you for spreading the word. This podcast is running like a racing train, as if to say, because the viewers the viewer count has picked up and everything. So I'm quite happy about this.
Yeah, people, please like and subscribe.
Focus,
Our podcast. The more you subscribe, the more you like, then the algorithm can pick it up and can share it. So yeah, Paul, I had a question this week. In JAWS we have the picture smart and the OCR and that type of thing, and I know we touched on NVDA as well on that. But now I have a thing that they say if we use some of the AI features of NVDA, we have to have an API key. What in the heavens is an API key?
Yeah, now you talk. This is quite a very interesting subject. If we start with API keys, I can go on and go on and go on. But in a nutshell,
lost focus, press Alt.
I think what we must do is I'm going to go to the internet and I am going to see what happens if I ask ChatGPT what an API key is. What do you think, Johan? Shall we do that, or shall I give my poor explanation? I also have one.
I think give your little explanation, and then we ask ChatGPT that we can see if your knowledge is correct or not.
Well, at school my teachers always told me that my knowledge is sketchy at worst. But yeah, so man, according to
let's ask ChatGPT then, Paul.
Yeah, but I'd like to actually, from a human perspective, just say what I know.
Lost focus, press Alt.
So, according to me, to my knowledge, it's like an authorization method to prevent unauthorized access to the service that you're using. For instance, Gemini or something like that. So let's see if I'm right.
Windows M.
Let's go to Brave.
Outlook
Here
Classic.
I use
B. Brave 27. Enter.
I use Brave browser.
Address and search. All context. B. Brave B. Bookmarks and list. Bookmark. Windows Face. DHP software. Share batch credit. Cisco networking. Acad. ChatGPT. 11. Enter. Leaving menus. Selected. Blank. ChatGPT Brave.
Okay, I'm in ChatGPT. Let's use the voice mode. Let's
virtual PC cursor. Chat with chat. B. Virtual.
I can type, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use the voice prompt.
Add files and dictate button. But start voice button.
Let's do that.
Enter. ChatGPT. Start voice button. Use JAWS pages access.
ChatGPT morning. Can you hear us?
Good morning. Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Thinking.
How's it going?
Well,
response complete.
I want to ask you a question.
Space. Speech on demand.
I want to ask you a question, and the question is about API keys. We had a conversation the other day about that, and now I want you to please explain to my viewers here in the podcast what is an API key. Why would I even need it? Why would I want to have an API key, and explain it for me specifically in the sense, concerning Google Gemini. Why would I need an API key? What is it? And please keep your explanation as simple as possible, because some of the viewers that watches this podcast, their second language is English, not their first language. So please keep it quite simple for me.
Absolutely. I'd be happy to explain that. So an API key is basically like a unique password that identifies you when you use a service like Google services. It ensures that only you can access the service and keeps track of how much you use it. For Google Gemini or any Google service, you need an API key so that Google knows who you are and can manage your usage. It also helps them keep things secure and ensures that you don't get charged for things you didn't authorize. In short, it's a way for you to connect safely and securely to Google services and keep everything organized.
Okay, but now, and what if the API key? I mean, do you get free API keys?
Great question. Yes, you can actually get free API keys for many of Google's services. They usually come with a limited amount of usage for free, which is perfect for smaller projects or just testing things out. If you need more usage, then you could upgrade to a paid plan. But the free tier is usually enough to get started and explore the service.
Okay, and just tell us basically how would you go about it to create such an API key? Where do you go? How do you do it?
Absolutely. So to create an API key with Google, you basically go to the Google Cloud Console, which is cloud.google.com. From there, you create a new project, and then you enable the API you want to use, like Google Gemini. After that, you just go to the credentials section and generate a new API key. It's pretty straightforward, and Google provides a step-by-step guide as well.
Well, okay, thank you very much, ChatGPT. That was a nice explanation. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. I'm glad it helped. If you have any more questions,
Yeah.
So what ChatGPT actually says is that's a form of security that Google's been built in so that they can recognize you or your machine rather in certain
actually,
or some.
It's actually your Google account.
It's like an ID.
Yeah, you need a Google account to create an API key.
Okay, but that gives you access to certain stuff. Now, if you use a free API key for a plugin, or not a plugin, a add-on into NVDA, then your service will stop working at a certain time. Because as far as I understand from ChatGPT is that the free API keys have a limited usage. For example, 100 triggers or 250 triggers or whatever the case may be. And then you have to do what? Do you have to buy it then? Or do you have to just ask for a new free API for that specific, let's say, Gemini then?
Yes, that's what you do. You can create a new free API key. You are able, yes. I wonder why people why people would actually then buy it in the first place. Maybe because they don't want to create a free new API key. Maybe it's actually a very, very interesting question. Maybe someone could inform us via email, pd906156@gmail.com, pd906156@gmail.com. Why would a person then actually buy API keys?
Paul, simple explanation. Myself, I would rather buy once off for a lifetime the same API than every second week or every second month go through the battle of creating an API and import it into the program and make sure it's working and. For myself, I don't like to battle with stuff like that. And that's the same reason why I rather buy software that is already been implemented, and I don't need to create my personal API or whatever to use an online feature like artificial intelligence.
You mean like someone, if you use the API key a lot for requests, then you might use the 250 requests in one day.
Remember, if you are working with let's use a simple thing like you are working with a picture smart, which is in JAWS. I know NVDA also have a picture recognition, whatever, and you are working with a lot of graphics, and every time you request the program to explain the graphic to you or to recognize the graphic, you use one of your API requests.
Yes, you do.
So if you, for example, are counting money and you have to ask the API or I'm only using an example. If you have to use your laptop and you take a shot with your webcam or your document camera, and it have to recognize the bank note or the coin or whatever. Every time you recognize that and you use a picture smart or a picture explainer or whatever the case may be, it's AI and it's requesting one of your API requests. So then you're going to run out of API requests very quickly.
Yeah, look, you get about 500 to 1,000, I think. You can set it there in. Yeah,
I understand. I still understand it, but what I'm saying is there will come a time when you need it,
you will.
And then you can't use it. Then you have to reinstall and rebuild and everything.
New API key.
So that's why I say I will rather buy the API.
And then that gives a credence to JAWS, where JAWS has its AI capabilities built in, and you don't need things like an API key.
Yeah, because it's already built in and it's working from out of the box. You don't need to do an add-on, or you don't need to copy paste the API or create the API or nothing. It's working out of the box.
That's quite correct. Now, Johan, there is an add-on that NVDA offers, as you said. It's called Vision Assistant Pro. So it's you can obtain the add-on itself through the add-on store. When you go to NVDA, you go to Tools, and you go to Add-on Store, then you can actually get the add-on there. And
download it or install it.
And install Vision Assistant Pro, the add-on. And then if you go to aistudio.google.com, you can go to cloud as well as ChatGPT said, but the aistudio.google.com is the short way. Then there you can simply just create a new project, and then you go to API keys or get API key, and you can then create your own API key. And then once you've copied
this Visual Assistant Pro doesn't work out of the box.
No, it's an add-on. It's not like JAWS. JAWS has no add-ons. JAWS has scripts that has been
I understand that, but if I download it and I install it onto NVDA, I still need to develop my own API key or create my own API key
Yes.
and then copy paste the API key so that we can actually use the plugin.
That's right.
After the
That's right.
add-on.
That's right. You have to do that, otherwise, because Vision Assistant Pro, the add-on, is dependent on the API key, because the API key, whether it's for ChatGPT or whether it's for Google Gemini or whether it's for Claude, doesn't matter what service you're using, the API key for it's the add-on is dependent on the API key to work.
Okay. Can you demonstrate us how do you go about to create the API key? In short, quick.
Okay.
Or is it the process?
Not really. If you know your hotkeys, then it's not so much. So I will just go
Windows
to
M, desktop.
Brave.
Brave 27, enter. Brave 27 of 28. Screen sharing me. Screen
Yeah,
sharing
we have to tell the people that you already did this, so you have the history.
Yeah, but if I didn't,
in your Brave history box,
Screen sharing meeting.
so you can use the shortcuts. But if you don't have the website, you have to search for it.
STUDIO period GOOGLE period COM. Enter selected. A studio Google Com app keys. Address and search bar edit. Control plus L. Google AI Studio Brave. Google AI.
You see there, you're correct. I do have the address in my history. aistudio.google.com/API keys. And I just go there and
Google AI Studio.
Then I will go to get API keys.
Links list. G not selected. Google AI Studio G. Google AI Studio escape. Google AI skipped. We have up dismiss button. Space.
Yes, dismiss all the banner
Google
messages here.
Skip toggle link graphic Google navigation region page not found. Wrapping the top page not Google skip toggle link navigation visited link playground expand no prompts yet. Blank. Link build. Blank. Visited link dashboard. Blank. Link documentation. Blank. What's new button collapse get API key button.
It's a button. So whether you're using JAWS or NVDA, you can use the B key to get there. So then I'll just enter there.
Enter Google AI Studio. Get API key button. Get API key button. Settings button menu collapsed. API keys heading level 2. Link API quick start create API.
Just one question. If we create a new API now, will that influence your current setup? Because I think your API will change then.
No. Why it will not is because even if I create a new API key, there's a table that actually shows me here all the API keys that I have. So all that I can then do now is I can go and
blank link API quick start. Create API key button.
There. I just go to create API key button. I press enter on that. And then a new API key will be created. And I can then copy it. I can choose copy API key. And it'll then copy the API key to the clipboard. Once I'm done, I can close this window, which I will do now.
Alt F4, stop share Alt S button.
Then all I do is I go to my NVDA window and I go to my settings in NVDA, which is preferences and settings, and then I press a V for Vision Assistant Pro, because that is what the add-on is called. When I press tab, I will then be presented with a place where I can then paste the API key. And once I've done that, the add-on is ready for use.
Okay, what I must ask now is, if you not log into Google, for example, I'm running my Chrome without a login. I'm running it as a guest. Will I still be able to create an API?
No. You need a
So,
Google.
so this
you need
is also a form of tracking who's using Google and who's not using Google and who's using Gemini and whatever. By forcing you to use a Google account.
That's right. It's going to ask you. If you're not logged in, you can go to aistudio.google.com, but it's going to ask you to either create an account or to log in with your.
Or to log in.
Yes. Very good question.
Okay, so
Yes.
what security wise, I think then the paid programs are much more ahead because you don't need to breach a security breach or a security protocol by logging into a Google account and give your data away to Google with an API to use the plugin.
Yes, it is a valid point, but many people have many people has Google accounts, and they don't, they will simply just stay like myself. I stay logged in. I never ever log out of Google, and it just makes things a bit easier for me when I do use Google services.
I understand, but what I'm saying is, if you are in a controlled environment, for example, a workplace,
Yes.
you have a work email account,
Yes.
which is on a separate domain than Google,
Yes.
and they normally don't allow Google add-ons or Google accounts on their network.
Yeah, no, that's why they would then buy API keys.
Yeah,
They would
but
buy
they still need that Google account to buy an API key.
Yeah, but they would open specific ports then. And then Google will have access to specific things. They can choose what Google should have access to. I mean, you can choose what Google should have access to and what not. And if you buy the API key, then they should then install it on a specific server, like you said when we actually had a conversation about AI and about JAWS and about authorization and things like that. Because if you do have an API key that is bought, then your authorization is much, much stricter.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so to conclude, there is a
Running out of time.
plugin that can do the same as Picture Smart, that have JAWS. So what we can do is you can do everything, but you have to have an API that you create yourself and implement or copy paste into the plugin.
Yes, that's
not
correct.
plugin. What do you call the thing?
Well,
the add-on.
call it a plugin, add-on, whatever, but it's fine. We are running out of time. Once again, we're running out of time, people. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for listening and watching. Remember my email address, pd906156@gmail.com, pd906156@gmail.com. Thank you, Johan. Really, it's always so interesting, these podcasts.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, everybody, for listening to us. And it's quite interesting. Paul, see you next week. And be safe.
All right then, folks. Goodbye and see you all.
Hello! What's going on here? It's Bits and Bytes. From anything to everything.